Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the first video on this brand new channel, Grow with Nav, and I'm super excited to bring you information on money, investing, real estate, stocks, ETFs. We'll discuss a lot of different things that could actually help unlock our full potential. The reason why I'm starting this channel is because I think as new immigrant, we actually came in 2020, middle of the pandemic, and we were living in a basement. I think every new immigrant leaves a really big part of themselves when they are in India or wherever you are coming from, and when you come here you are actually lost. You don't know how to make money, we don't know how to build our lives, we don't know how to invest, we don't know how to buy our house. And the intention of this channel is to make things really simple on that respect, so that when you come here your struggle, your journey is more simplified. Now for today, I actually chose a topic that will be the foundation of this new channel, and it's called the wealth ladder. How as new immigrants we can actually start from zero and start building our wealth, and what are the pitfalls, what are the things that we need to make sure that we are doing. I am not there yet, but I know that this is something that is achievable, and that's the intention of this particular video. Now this concept is not new, it's not mine. I actually read this article where the author talked about 6 levels of the wealth ladder. Now to understand this, let's go to my laptop. So I made a few slides. I will be doing a lot of that on this channel so that it's just easier to understand from a slides point of view. Slides just makes it easier to understand. So let's get into what the wealth ladder is. So there are basically, so if you look at the y-axis, you have about 6 levels. So level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. These are 6 levels of wealth. And on the x-axis you have the net worth. Now I do not include your primary house as your net worth. Primary house is an expense. I'll be talking about this in our videos later. I've been talking about this on our Instagram as well, but that is something that I do not count as net worth. Technically it is, but I don't call that net worth. So it has, the level 1 will be where you have $10,000 of net worth, then you have $100,000, then you make $1 million, then you make $10 million, then you make $100 million. I'll be talking about each and every level and where we are right now. Now, first level is when you are living paycheck to paycheck. This is when we actually come to Canada. Let me just talk about my example. So when we came to Canada, me and my wife Simran, we came to Canada with $20,000 of proof of funds. It was a little more than what Canadian government required. Now it's increased, but anyways, that's another topic. But we came with little money that we had. We didn't want to touch that money. We were spending in Indian rupees, so that was very, very hard. Plus there was the pandemic, right? We were living paycheck to paycheck because it took about 1 month for Simran to get a job. She was working as a software developer in a very low paid job because we wanted something during the pandemic, right? We didn't want to spend those $20,000 or our Indian rupees. So she got a job which was about $20 an hour as a software developer. That's a very low rate, and she was working 70 to 80 hours per week, just so we are able to pay our expenses. That was paycheck to paycheck. There are no rules here. You actually spend everything that you are getting because you're hardly getting $1,600 to $2,000 a month. That's not enough to sustain a lifestyle in Canada, but that is enough when you are actually coming here. Now we were able to pay our expenses, but we were not able to save a lot, and therefore it's called level 1, where you live paycheck to paycheck. Now let's talk about level 2. Now in level 2, what happens is, for example, we came in March, we did not have a job. Simran was, we were living paycheck to paycheck, but come July, we both got jobs. In August, I started doing a job. Simran was also working full-time now, not just a contract job. And we were getting about $8,000 net income a month. We were earning about $140,000 to $150,000 gross, which is good money. And this is where we actually start saving a little, and we reach a saving level of $10,000. We are still not investing a lot, and we'll talk about that in level 3, but we actually save up to $10,000 and we have some liquid net worth, and that's where we reach level 2. We have a little bit of liberty, and I actually call this, and not just I, but this is actually called a grocery freedom level. What this means is, if you're going to Walmart, you don't have to think while buying this brand versus that brand. That doesn't mean you actually spend a lot of money. That just means that when you're doing your grocery, and if the bill is instead of $300, $350, it doesn't hurt your wallet. That's why it's called grocery freedom, and that's where every new immigrant is when two people are working in a household and you're getting about $140,000 to $150,000 in gross income. Now, important thing here is that I see a lot of people drop down to level 1 from this grocery freedom level because they spend way more than what they are making. They have more credit card debt, they do more shopping, they buy an expensive car, and all that actually leads them to go back to level 1, which is dangerous. So we need to make sure of two rules. Number one is most of the people in this level will be renting. Make sure that your rents are not more than 25% of what you're taking home. So if you're taking home $8,000 net income, make sure that you are not paying more than $2,000 of rent. That's where we actually extended our stay in the basement a little, and then we moved to a small condo where the rent were below $2,000. And the other rule is if you're buying a car, I'm not saying you should not buy a car. First of all, try to buy a second-hand car if you can. But if you can't, if you want a new car, make sure that you are adhering to the rule of 10. That basically means that your car expenses, which is your EMI, your insurance, and your fuel, should not be more than 10% of your net income. So if you're earning $8,000, your overall expense of the car should not be more than $800, and this is 10% of the net income that's coming in. I've talked about this a million times now, but make sure you're adhering to those rules, and that would ensure that you are not dropping below level 2, you're not dropping back to paycheck, and you're actually on your way to level 3. And now let's talk about what level 3 is. Now comes level 3, where your net worth has now increased to about $100,000. That's serious money that you are making right now. Now if you go to a restaurant, you do not think about whether your bill is high or low. It won't make a lot of difference into your net worth. It won't make a massive dent, and that's why this level is actually called restaurant freedom. And that basically means when you're going to a restaurant, you just splurge. I'm not saying you get your bill towards $1,000, but if you spend $100 versus $150, it's not gonna make a whole lot of difference. I won't recommend doing that over and over, but still it won't make a difference, and that's why it's called restaurant freedom. Now, a lot of immigrants do not cross the level 2 where you have your grocery freedom. They do not cross that level and move on to restaurant freedom. And then there is worse, where a lot of people, when they reach restaurant freedom, you buy a house that's way too expensive. The expenses just outweigh your the money that's coming in. 50 to 60% of your net income is actually going towards your house, and that's where people falter and move back to level 1. You reach level 3, buy a house that's way too expensive and you cannot afford the monthly payments, and then you drop down to level 1, and that's where the rule of 35 comes in. We actually made an entire video on how to buy a house. I'll link it in the description below, but it's very important that we do not cross the 35% of our net income. So what it means is that your mortgage payment, your condo fee, your utility bill, and your property tax combined should not be more than 35% of your net income that you are getting in. And if that's not the case, you need to either increase your income or you need to reduce the amount of house that you're buying so that you do not reach the level 3 and drop down to level 1. So that's the one critical factor that determines whether you will remain at level 3 or whether you will cross the level 2 and reach level 3 or not. The net worth that I'm talking about, $100,000, when you make the down payment on your house, yes, you have a house and in 30 years you'll be mortgage free. That's always a good thing to do in long term, but you temporarily have dropped down to level 2 again because your net worth will not count your primary house. It will only count the amount of cash that you have and the amount of investments that you have that are liquid, and it may count your rental properties as well because you can liquidate that, even though they take a little bit of time to get you the money. Now comes level 4, which is basically called travel freedom. The article called this travel freedom because now you can travel anywhere you want, whenever you want, without thinking of money. And that doesn't again mean that you travel in an extravagant way. You can do that, but you have $1 million of liquid net worth, which again excludes your primary house, but you can actually do whatever you want with your time. And that's the level that very few immigrants ever achieve. Me and Simran are at level 3 right now with $100,000 plus of net worth, but we would like to reach $1 million of net worth and this travel freedom in the next 2 years. It's not very easy, but we are planning to do that, and we are still working towards how to do that. The other thing is that level 4 is very hard to achieve if you have just a job. Unless you are earning $300,000-$400,000 of household income gross and coming, that kind of money is not that common. It's very difficult to achieve this on a salary which is taxable at the highest level. So in my view, in order to achieve the level 4, you need to start a business, you need to start a side hustle with your job that slowly but steadily grows in level, and then you scale it up in order to achieve this particular level. That's how a lot of people do it. That's why I became a mortgage broker. That's why I have courses. I am doing so many side hustles. I am working 18 hours a day. I am working a little bit less now that I don't have a full-time job as well to go with my side hustle, and the side hustle is a business. But again, this requires a lot of time and effort, and that's the reason why it's not very common for people to move from level 3 to level 4 into travel freedom. Now on this channel, we'll also be making videos on how to start a business, how to do side hustles. There's some amazing content that's coming your way, so do subscribe to the channel if you have not done that. And now we talk about level 5, where you have $10 million of net worth, and that level is something that I'm not very excited about. I would be okay staying at level 4 as well, but that's basically called house freedom. And the reason why it's called house freedom is now you can actually buy a house that you want on cash. Now whether you do that or not, but you can actually afford to do that, and that's why it's called house freedom. Now this is the level where you pay off your house. It doesn't have to be in 30 years, right? Normal mortgages are 30 years, maybe in 10 years you pay off your house. Now you're living mortgage free, you have enough investments. Your business is actually, when you put $10, it actually gives you $100. All is doing well. You still are living below your means because you just have more money, and now you are actually able to do a lot of things that you love, and you are actually reaching financial independence. Level 5 is what I think financial independence would look like, where you don't have a mortgage, you have enough investments to pay off your living, and you are doing what you actually want to do in life. Now guys, obviously I have not reached level 5. I don't even know how to reach that. So on this channel, we'll also be interviewing a lot of people who are at this level. We did interview Raman Dua, who is probably at this level or beyond that even. And the reason why we interview these people is because I want to learn from them on how to do that. And through this channel, I'll actually get those interviews to you as well. So again, do subscribe to the channel, because again, there are so many exciting things that are due to come on the channel. This is also the level where you think about trust accounts, where you think about wills, where you think about estate planning, all those things. Again, I have no idea about how to do. I have heard about it, I have seen people do that, and I'm getting some exposure through my accountant and financial planners, but all that is something that I still am growing with, and I would get that on the channel when I get a handle on how to do things. And finally, you have the last level, which is level 6, where you have $100 million of net worth. It's when you actually give away money, and it's not because of tax. And yes, you will be saving tax. You would say that Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, all are at this like this level 6, where they have 100 million, and they are obviously billionaires, so they have 1 billion plus of net worth, but they are giving away a lot of their wealth. And the reason why, number one, is that it actually helps them shelter their net worth, and it has a lot of tax advantages. But I don't have a problem with that. If wealthy people are doing charity because there are tax advantages, that's okay, because they are doing charity, they are doing something good as well, and I'm not opposed to that at all. I think it's a good thing, that it's a win-win for everyone there. But what I'm saying is that this level 6 is obviously very, very, very difficult to achieve. There are sacrifices to be made. I personally don't know if I want to reach that level. Probably level 4, like I said, is where I would want to stop and then enjoy my life. But I think there are people who will be ambitious enough to reach level 6, and that's the level where you give away money, you have a lot, you have generational wealth, you have estate planning, your kids of kids will be able to sustain and live a good life on the wealth that you generated at this level. Now, some people might say that this level can be achieved at level 1 and level 2 as well, where you give 10% of your earnings towards charity, and I'm not opposed to that. I'm not saying that's not charity, but that's not level 6, because that kind of charity makes a significant difference in 1 or 2 or 3 lives. But this is what I'm talking about when you make a difference at scale. When you are at level 6, you are able to open schools, you are able to do charity, you are able to eradicate, like hunger in a small country, right? That's the amount, like for example, Bill Gates Foundation eradicated, at least, work towards eradicating polio in India, right? That's the amount of wealth that is generated, and that's the amount of scale that I'm talking about in this level 6. Small charities, yes, everyone should do that, and a lot of people are doing that even if they are at level 1, which is a good thing, right? That's always a good thing to do. But what I'm talking about in this level 6 is where your business is so massive that you have generational wealth to actually give away money and make a difference. So those were the 6 steps of wealth ladder that I found very interesting, and I wanted to base and keep this as my first video on this channel. I hope you like this video. We'll be talking more in depth about how to do business, how to start a side hustle, what it takes to do that. I'll also talk about how I invest personally into stocks, how I research about properties that I'm buying, how to buy rental properties, what is cap rates. There is so much information that's coming your way on this channel. So do subscribe to the channel, and if you like this video, do like the video as well, because that would actually help reach this video to more people. I'll be doing a lot of content in English on this channel, so that's another change that I'm trying to make. It's not very natural for me, so just bear with me while I adjust to this new way of making videos. मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय।